Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order, and I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. I certainly appreciate you being here. We're going to go ahead and have our pledge of allegiance, and then we have Brother Hammontree is going to come and give us our invocation in just a second. But let's have our pledge. I'm going to ask Lynn if he will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you so much, Lord, for this day. Thank you for the privilege that we have to come together, Lord, to conduct city business. Thank you for the council and the mayor, Lord, for their stand, Lord, they take for our city. And Lord, we pray that you would just help them to make the decisions that's best for our city, Lord, as I know they have. And Lord, we thank you for things being so well with our cities they are. And we're thankful that we live in Hamilton, Alabama, Lord. And we're thankful for the businesses of this town, Lord, and each and every employee of this city that takes to keep it running. Lord, I pray a special blessing upon them. Lord, I thank you for those who are gathered here tonight. Lord, I pray you just protect them as they travel to their places of stay. Lord, we thank you for this Christmas season, Lord, that we celebrate your birth. Lord, and none of this will be possible without you. Lord, I just pray tonight, Lord, you help us to remember the real reason. And Lord, I ask that you go with us as we leave from this place. Lord, we ask your protection on each and every one, and your will be done in our life. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thanks, Jason. I'd like to say I appreciate our pastors coming and praying for us. We really appreciate them taking time to come, and it means a lot to us that they take time to come and lift us up in prayer. First thing on the agenda tonight is the recommendation to approve the minutes from our last meeting. Is there a motion to approve? You know what?
I don't have it.
I don't know that we have it. Let's hold off on that. Jan has been sick, and she may have sent them to me, and I'm writing on for them. So let's just go to number 2 on that. That won't be no big deal. All right, number 2 is to recognize our 2015 Miss Hamilton, Lexi Hayes. Lexi, if you would come. We just want to give you some recognition for being our new Miss Hamilton, and thank you, and wish you the best of luck for this coming year. And tell us, when was the pageant?
The pageant was November the 9th, and I'll be going to Miss Alabama the first week of June.
Well, you're going to represent us extremely well, I know. We want to keep you busy. And maybe we'll have a lot of ribbon cuttings for you to come to or something. But we do want to wish you the best of luck. We just want to recognize you on council meeting. And if you would come up here, we'll get a picture with us and the council. And Ben, put it in the paper. Give her some recognition.
Y'all come and get closer to it.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Which way you want to do it?
Okay, like this will be fine. Put this away. Right. Okay, thank you.
Let me get one.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Mom's here.
Miss Hamilton, one page. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you. You'll be in the parade tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
It's going to get all in one night when we had the council parade, so y'all see her tomorrow night in the parade. Lexi, thank you for coming very much. Next item on the agenda tonight is Mr. Jimmy Mills with a multi-jurisdiction hazard mitigation plan. I think I put a copy in y'all's tray today. Jimmy come to see me last week, and this is something that each city is doing with the county. And Jimmy, if you would explain what this is, you need this, so we can get this voted on tonight.
No, sir, this is just for y'all to accept
Okay.
and put it in your minutes, make a resolution. That other paper though is one that you don't mind passing through, letting them sign it.
Yeah, got it right here.
So what this is, and let me go back to a little history on this. 2009, FEMA required everybody, states, counties, municipalities, to have a mitigation plan, hazard mitigation plan. And in this plan, you've got what could happen and what you need afterwards. And this plan was approved through FEMA, and NACOG done our first plan for us in 2000, and it was approved in 2009. All the cities in Marion County has this plan, including y'all and the county commission, as well as throughout the state. Every 5 years, FEMA requires us to do an update on this, and this is 2014, and we've done it a little bit different this year. We've done a regional, and this consists of Marion, Winston County, Colbert, and Franklin all went in, and they wrote the plan for us again, or done the update for us. The reason we've done it this way is the 2011 tornadoes, we used mitigation money for the grant process, 75-25 match on that. To get it, and what we've done is we've put some more in. NACOG has been the ones to hash it out with FEMA. FEMA has finally approved it and has come back to us for our approval. Some of the questions that FEMA wanted to put in there was like, how hot is lightning? How often does flooding happen in our county, in our region? And in this plan, Marion County is broke out separate, as also as each city is broke out separate, but it's all condensed down into one plan. We put in everything we could think of, whether it be natural or man-made events. And also, since this plan was first passed in 2009, we found some new things that we've added to the plan. Mitigation projects, communications, more radios, more towers, generators for sewer plants, water plants, government-owned buildings, all this, add this to mitigation money. Just like the sirens and shelters that was already in there, if we're hit and we're declaring a presidential emergency, this is stuff that we can apply and work for also. Also, at the same time, if we're declared for presidential declaration, if we're not in this plan, we're not going to get anything. So we got to be.
This is part of being prepared just in case there is an emergency.
That's what this is. And this doesn't cost anything, this doesn't do anything, but if it happens, you've got all your ducks in a row. Every I is dotted and every T is crossed through this plan. It doesn't have to be pinpoint specific, but it has to be broad enough to cover. Can I
And each city's doing this.
Correct.
Some have already done that.
Some has already done it, some's tonight, some is Wednesday night, and some doesn't meet again until January the 5th, the first Monday night in January. So the county commission has already signed off on this and on board, and now we're going to each city throughout Marion County. Not just Marion County, but throughout this region. I'm coming to all the counties.
Jimmy, those are signed. If you want anywhere in the audience to pass around, you can do that too, I guess. You might need as many signatures as possible. Y'all have any questions for Jimmy before we? What do you need, Jimmy? We just need
Just need
accept
to approve and adopt it in your minutes.
Okay.
That way FEMA comes back in a year and if something happens to say, did y'all approve this? Is it in your minutes? Is it recorded? If it's all recorded there, then all is set.
Or would there be a motion to approve this hazard mitigation plan?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Greg, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Lynn, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. I'll get this signed and get it attested when Jimmy gets back, because it's got to be sealed. Jimmy will get that. Any questions you have, anything else?
No, thank you. Thank you all for your time and
Appreciate you, appreciate the job you're doing, and appreciate bringing this to us. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you very much. Next on our agenda is Emily Peterson. Emily, you and I met probably a couple months ago now, and we've been in discussions or thinking about building another fire station. We know we need it, and after you and I met, I know you met with Tim and Matt. We just want to come and let you give your presentation to them so they can
Okay.
see it.
All right.
Just go from there.
First off, let me just kind of introduce myself. I'm Emily Peterson, but most of you probably know my parents, Bruce and Jeannie Miller. I've been in South Carolina now, well, I was in South Carolina for about 14 years there, and I'm a partner in a firm there, and we specialize in educational work, civic work, auditoriums, civic centers, fire stations, rec centers, anything of that nature. So, but I do want to talk just a couple minutes about the fire station. The packet you have there in front of you, the first page there is just kind of, or the first rendering that you'll see on the second page, is the proposed fire station. That's the entry side there. And it'll hold 2 fire trucks. It's got 2 bays. We'll get to the floor plan in just a minute. But the proposal right now is just kind of proposed to be rough cut, split base CMU outside for the primary construction of the building, which will be real durable for the water or anything like that. You don't have to worry about any chipboard or anything inside the bays. The interior of the other side, that's kind of the more house side of things, does have chipboard in it, but it uses a high abuse resistant type chipboard. And then the roof is a modified bitumen roof, which is a real high efficiency roof. We get a lot of return on your investment in terms of that roof. It's not a low slope. It does have a slope. It's got a pitch, but it will come out on the back side with some scuppers and drain straight down to the ground so that we can keep all that water off of that. But it helps with the cooling the building down and keeping your heating costs pretty low. Similar to like a 2-ply roof with a cap sheet, but it's very high efficiency. On the next sheet, you have the floor plan, which I'm sure everyone's kind of interested in. This is a conceptual plan that I worked out with Tim and Matt a couple of months ago. But it has an entryway that you walk into and have some offices there. The plan doesn't show a view window. Most likely we'd have a view window from one of those offices so you can kind of see visitors coming into the station. In a fairly wide hallway. And then moving into that, we have some sleeping quarters. Now, some of the things that you'll see in this fire station might not be what you're used to. A lot of that's because the last time a fire station was built, there was no code adopted here in the city. So a lot of the things you'll see in this plan are based on the IBC 2006 code that the city has adopted. So there's a few more requirements in there that we'll have to work towards. Some of that's the sleeping accommodations. Some of that will be the structure that we'll have to use. Since it will be an emergency station, it's required to have a little bit more structural stability than a lot of buildings, just commercial buildings, are required to have, just so that those stay operational in events that might occur. It has 2 separate sleeping quarters. And 2 showers and 2 toilets, and that's pretty much the minimum that's required for a fire station about this size. It also has a large training room, a classroom that can be used by, you can use it as a place if you need to have a meal for the city or whatnot, but seating in a classroom setting, it'll hold about 32 people, and we'll work it out so that it's got, right now it's showing about 16 feet on 2 separate walls, so about 32 feet of usable markerboard space. And then it's got some windows, but we can put some blackouts in there so that we can get that dark if you want to use any audio-visual type stuff. And then it has 2 large bays that are complete pull-through bays. And then right on the other side of the bays, we have a gear room and a laundry room. And a generator room. A generator is not required at a fire station this size. You certainly don't have to put it in right away, but I would either advise it or put in the conduits and whatnot that are required for it in the future if you choose not to do it now, and you want to have it up and running for any life events that you might have later on. And then of course it's got some storage and electrical rooms that are required. It does have a break room. The break room will have to have if it has any kind of cooking surface in there other than a microwave, we'll have to put a commercial hood in it. It's just the code. We can't really get around that, but so it'll be a full operational kitchen for either, you can either bring catering in or you can cook there, so. On the next page, well, on this page before we leave it, you'll see these kind of circles with triangles on it that say 1, 2, 3, 4. On the next 2 pages, you'll just see front-on elevations of the fire station, and those numbers coordinate with these elevations, so you can kind of make your way around the building and follow which elevation you're looking at. The number 1 is just the front elevation. There is some brick on the building, but that's primarily just to give it a little bit of depth and texture. It's not necessarily required. We certainly could put some horizontal siding up there if you prefer instead of brick, which could, it makes no difference one way or the other. They're about the same cost. It's an aesthetic thing, really, but there are other options if you choose not to go with brick veneer on those. And then the back elevation that you see there, number 3, that shows the drainage from the roof, the scuppers and the downspout, taking it all the way down to the ground there so we can get the water off the roof without having to have an internal roof drainage system.
You can't see the top of the roof because the brick goes above.
That's right, it's got a parapet, and because we're at the height we are required to have so much above the roof so that you don't have anyone to fall off, but or you have to put handrails up there. But yeah, this parapet's tall enough. The roof actually on this high part, the one if you're looking at the back elevation, the one that says number 3, the bays, the actual bar joist bearing at the low point would be about 18.8. So that's got a slope on it, so the other end would be a little bit higher than that, but that would carry you so that you don't actually see the roof. Let's see. Next page, I'm sure is the page that everyone's kind of interested in looking at, but this page has a little bit of information on it. You'll see the proposed building program. That's kind of the spaces that I worked through with Tim and Matt on what they felt their needs were, and then in a combination with the code and what was required by the code in terms of what was required in that space. So it comes out to be about a total square footage, about 4,000 square foot, a little over 4,000 square feet in the building. And I think probably your best guesstimate in terms of cost would be around $90 a square foot. Talking about on the inside of the building, you know, doing concrete floors, you can stain them if you want, but not really putting a floor finish down. If you want to put tile in it later when it's manned, you certainly could, but for now, I would just put, you know, keep a concrete floor. You could put some base up to, you know, make it look a little bit finished out. But right now, aesthetically, in terms of a lot of civic buildings, that's the route that they're going in, is kind of exposed structure everywhere and concrete floors, which is advantageous for a lot of reasons. Then the proposed schedule, I've kind of already worked through most of the conceptual stuff, design development. If I were to go ahead and get an agreement that y'all want to move forward with it, that the schedule that you see here is based on an agreement in the next week or so saying that you want to move forward, which gives about a month for design development, which means that I would really work with Matt and Tim and whoever else you want to put on that committee to work out the details and what you really want, what you don't want, and that kind of thing. It usually takes about a month by the time you get everybody together and get a couple of renditions of that. And then from that, I would move straight into the construction documents for bidding, and that would take me about 6 weeks or so to get those done. And then I have allotted in here a month for bidding and permitting. Just generally, for a building this size, you'd give a contractor 30 days to put it bid together. And then I've got on here 8 months, I think I have 8 months for construction. You could probably do it in less time than that, but it is hitting tornado season and some rainy season in April there. So, you know, you might want to just give it time if you've got the time, if you don't need it immediately. 8 months would probably be a fair amount of time for that. And then about a month for closeout and occupy. And that's pretty much the schedule and the program there. And the last picture that you see, the rendering there, is the back side of the fire station, just kind of a 3D shot of it. And these are full pull-through bays, so these trucks will kind of come in from the front and be able to pull all the way through, so we don't have to eat up the site with a lot of parking lots and turnaround space.
Is this just the building only, nothing outside, like concrete drives? or
This will have, that
asphalt?
does have some site work concrete in it, but generally the site prep is not included in the building construction cost. I haven't consulted anyone on that, but in the design development phase, when we move into that, we'll be able to get more of a real cost on what the site cost would actually be.
Okay. I think the building design looks really good. It's pretty, it looks like something we could, definitely use, even if we didn't completely finish everything. We know we need another station, and we know about it, but we don't know for sure, just estimate about what it might cost.
Right.
I think this is close to what we thought it might be. Do y'all have any questions for me? I wanted to come tonight and present this to you because, so you'd be thinking about it and looking at it, and something that we need to get back with you. We can meet
Right.
informally, one or two at a time, or
Sure.
another work session, but I wanted the council to see what we've talked about.
I think I put my card on there too, if you guys give me a call if you have any questions.
We're glad to have you back in Hamilton.
Yeah, I'm glad
You know,
to be
we're
back.
local architects. We need to try to do home business at all possible, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tim, you got anything else to add, you or Matt? Yeah, I wasn't expecting us to vote it up tonight. I just wanted you to see it and wanted you to be aware of what she's been working on.
How quick do we need to, look at voting on something?
I think pretty quick, next month, I would say next, no later than our second meeting in January, not the first, if we got time. Based on construction and time it takes to get it designed and built, we know that, Tim, we have about a year. We're putting a plan together for trying to keep our class 4.
That's right.
And that's part of the plan. And, we have like a year to get this done. And that's going to be about a year by the time this is finished. So I don't think we need to delay too much longer.
Where's it gonna go?
Right now, Tim, we're looking at Industrial Park, Bedford over there by Perfect House.
Perfect Miles across from the DOT lot over there.
On the left as you go in.
Right there about where that fire hydrant's at. There's a fire hydrant already there. Going down there on the left.
Did you bring the information tonight showing that that's gonna cover?
Run
I
down.
did some analysis on that today. 5 miles, 5 road miles is what that station would be credited for. And 5 road miles from that point goes all the way to County 57, which is B Mountain, which is outside the city limits. It goes up County 49, the old Hackleburg Road, to Golden Road. So, and if you start spurring off of those main drags, obviously, you might not cover every ounce of the city limits. But what we need to be mindful of is that we want to cover as many protected road miles. We want a mile and a half outside of that, around that station that has hydrants. That's what we'll really get credit for, although we are helping the homeowners in that 5 mile radius, if that makes sense.
So this is actually driving miles and not.
Yeah, it's not the way the bird flies,
Right,
it's
because
road
it has to
miles.
be the driving.
And then
miles.
I went down 51, it covers the Rifle Range Road all the way to County 42, and that's still just 3.5 miles or
miles. So
something.
it covers all the
So-
city limits, pick up the city limits over there on 42, going back to the left and Sod Farm and.
So it's gonna get Shenandoah Road, it's gonna get Mills Road.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate you coming tonight. Number 6, let's go down to number 7. We'll come back up to number 6 in a little bit. I had Tim to come here tonight, our chief, to discuss the fire trucks. He has a guest. Tim, if you want to start first, and we'll get your guest to come and tell us
Yeah,
why
this
he's
is,
here.
we've been working on this for, before ISO got here and we started talking about the bond money and all that, the trucks and everything. We got one together, got everything spec'd out on it, and what you see up there in front of you is what we come up with. This is not a fancy truck by no means, like, it's not a custom truck. And it's, but it will serve our purpose of what we need to serve for.
It is a pumper tanker.
Yes, sir. 1,800 gallon.
Anything else in there?
It's got the drop tanks. The only equipment, the equipment that will come on it would be the drop tanks, the hard suction hose, and the ladders. That's included in the price there. That's some equipment we would have to buy to put on it.
We'd have to quit both of them completely, or you got some?
No, we'll just have to equip one of them.
And how long does it take to get
This is David
This is David
Eckel,
Eckel.
EP.
You would, David, introduce yourself. and tell us.
He can answer them questions better than
I'm
I
asking you. to
I'm
come
David
front.
Eckel with Emergency Equipment. I work out of the Pelham, Alabama. We are the area Pierce dealer. We've been fortunate enough, we have supplied you with one of your vehicles previously. The premise behind this truck right here is to give you the pumping capability and water because of from what both chiefs have told me, where you will be locating this, you don't necessarily have all the water capabilities, and it's going to give you extra capacity, therefore that 1,800 gallons. What we've done with this in an effort to try to save you some money is to drop back from that custom cab and go with what's called a commercial, which is the Freightliner. I can do it on a couple of different styles, but I found the Freightliner being the most cost efficient and giving you the best bang for your dollar. One of the reasons I was here this evening is to kind of explain to you what we were proposing on that and where I've gotten some of the numbers on the truck is it's a consortium called HGAC, which stands for the Houston Galveston Area Collective. What this is, it's a cooperative that they have put together, and they have basically pre-bid all of these trucks. And what we do, we submit and we build up a truck, like we've sat down and built up the specs for the fire department, and then submitted this to that consortium. Then they take it and make sure that it fits within their guidelines and the price parameters. And therefore it keeps you from having to go through the bid process, since this is basically already been bid out. What you're getting right there is this truck at last year's pricing. And Pierce is given, if you'll notice on that, you've got $1,000, which actually Pierce gave a $2,000 multi-truck discount, and I split that between the two trucks, so you're seeing $1,000. If you'll do the prepay, you're going to save an additional $9,200. And that's this with.
Is that prepaid for both trucks?
That's
Completely
$9,200 on each truck.
pay for the whole thing?
Yes, sir. So you'd actually you'd be saving, well, over $18,400 in prepay for the trucks, plus getting the $2,000. So approximately $20,000, what you'd be saving for those trucks.
This how other cities are doing on this?
Yes, sir.
The consortium.
Huntsville was the latest, and in fact, I just talked to the chief last week, and he said, we will probably never bid another truck out because it made the process so streamlined. Birmingham uses it, Muscle Shoals, Jacksonville, and the state examiner put a letter of approval on this before everybody started doing this, and we were able to present this letter. So the state of Alabama recognizes this is a legitimate consortium. So people all over the state are using this.
If we're able to order 2 trucks pretty soon and able to vote on this when the council gets ready, how long does it take to get these trucks?
You're looking at approximately 7 to 8 months.
So if we vote on it next month in January, we're looking at August probably.
Probably so, yes.
Before we get.
Now, not to try to pressure anybody, and I don't know how long the pricing will be held. There's a contractual agreement until November. However, there's a secondary contract trying to be put in because of some new expenses that have been brought on by the fire truck manufacturers, and they're going back to try to renegotiate. Now, there will be a 30-day grace period if this does transpire. There will be a 30-day grace period on that. So if it goes in January, you have to February. But I wanted to warn you and let you know that there is the possibility of that happening.
There's price increases.
Yes, sir.
But this would be good through, till we meet again. We don't meet again until the 5th of January.
January, yes. Did anybody have any questions about the HGAC?
Tim, you got anything to add?
He pretty much covered it.
Yeah, and I've given you my cards. If anything comes up, I'm very accessible. You're more than welcome to give me a call on my cell and leave a message if I'm not available, and I will call you back as quickly as possible.
And I appreciate you, yes, sir, we appreciate you coming, and look forward to doing some business with you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, Rodney, if you would explain to us, I gave the council a copy of the bid proposal for repairing that fence in the water department, water treatment plant. If you care, just kind of explain the reason we need this, for safety reasons and keeping that plant secure.
We are fixing to be in need of some work around the gate area on the fence at the water treatment plant. And I went ahead and got a proposal on putting in an electronic gate that you could open and close with a remote. Normally, EPA and ADM are getting just more strict and more strict on security systems at water treatment facilities. And this is a big step in the security part of it. They recommend that we keep the gates locked at all times, even when somebody's there. We keep them, try to keep them closed. They prefer you have them locked, but we don't go to that extreme at this point. But with electronic gate, that would really help on security the premises at the water treatment plant.
This proposal is for $4,200, and it is remodifying the gate to stay at the gate.
Yes.
and having remotes.
Having
Or it runs on does it run on a chain or?
runs on a chain, yes. It'll have an opener, it'll be one opener, and that's why they would modify the gate part. Right now, it's on 2 tracks, it opens both ways.
Right.
And when they would modify this, it would put that one track, one gate going all the way across. Therefore, you could open the gate wide enough for one truck to come in.
So someone walking inside could turn it, if someone come to that gate, didn't have a remote.
Yeah, they would be a remote in
Somebody coming to work
in the
there,
lab at the plant that they could
Working from there.
remote and open the gate.
and then your guys that works for the other departments,
Yeah, each-
if they have to come, they would have one in their truck.
Each operator would have a remote with them.
Are you gonna have like a speaker system or a sound system if somebody comes up that they don't know, so they can buzz in and find out who they are before they open it?
It won't be that technical at this point. They would, if a strange vehicle came up, the operator, I guess, would just have to go out there and see who it was.
Just on bid you got?
It is, I tried to get some more bids, I couldn't find anybody within 100-mile radius that did this besides these people. They did the one for Ewan, they did the one for Upper Bear Creek, they pretty much the only ones around this area that does that type of stuff.
Yeah, because you and I have been talking for
I've
close to
tried
2
to
months,
call
and we
people.
just got this estimate. So I didn't know
Did ADM or has anybody suggested an intercom system? I mean,
They don't really,
they don't care.
they don't care,
As long as it's secure.
as long as it's secure.
So Rodney, this is your recommendation, what you want me to present to the council? Okay. Is there a recommendation to approve this estimate of $4,200? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Thank you very much. Number 9 is a recommendation to accept the low bid of Fowler's Hamilton Petroleum. Each year we bid the gas out, and his is .1199 markup per gallon for both unleaded and on-road diesel fuel, which was the lowest bid. We had 2 bids, one from him and one from Moore's. Moore's was a little bit higher. It was .4 something. Dan's got it in there, but I had Scott Hunt overlook the bids and make sure, because bidding the gas is pretty difficult. I don't know how difficult it is, but it takes a lot more to look at it, the numbers, and Scott said that he was definitely the low bidder. So it's my recommendation to give the bid to Fowler's Petroleum. This is good for 1 year.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Lynn, is there a second? Barry? Yes, sir. Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Thank you. And he currently has our bid and does a great job. We've never had any trouble. Mike running out of gas, they keep it checked regularly, and anytime we need something, they're there. So he is a local owner of the business, so we're keeping it in town if all possible.
Mayor, just be a good neighbor. Numbers, are we gonna come back to number 6?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just been watching.
Yeah. I have on here a discussion of the LED sign at the Pocket Park. I gave you all the information a couple of weeks ago, and didn't know if you had time to look over it or not. If you want to do it the next meeting, that's fine. But I wanted you to. We have 2 bids. Both are very close, and one is $28,337. One is about $28,500. Both are almost the same cost and almost the same sign. The one that's a little bit lower is from Stewart Signs. The difference is the one that's just a little bit lower has a little bit better quality on the 20 millimeter. I've talked to both of them. Tried to check in. I know this is kind of complicated, but the 20 millimeter 40 by 144 has a little bit better quality than the other bid, and it is the lower one. It's it would go in between the 2 posts that we have now, take the one down that we have, and it would be operated from a computer. You wouldn't have to go up there and change signs. It has a line of sight either. What we probably would have to do up to 1,500 feet. They could do it from the fire station, because it's in a direct line of the sign. Anything we want to put on it, they can do it, but it has all types of graphics, has multicolors. You can run multiple messages, a lot more than we can do now. The rec center has to change that sign every couple of days, and it's it's just obsolete. Also has a temperature module on it. Both of them do. They both are very close within the same one. I have a color picture of this one. Y'all want to look at what it looks like.
So the Stewart sign, it doesn't require any extra software, or how much is the software?
It's included.
Okay. So in the one that's more expensive, the software is not included, but the one that's less
It's
expensive.
supposed to be included and insulated. Both of these are installed, by the way. So when you're looking at these things, I've gotten multiple people to look at, but they're real similar to, there's one in First National Bank, I think there's one in CIS. These are just probably going to be a little bit more you know, nicer, not to say nicer, but they are going to be able to do multiple things with it. And like I say, if you felt like voting on tonight, I would recommend going with the Stewart signs and paying $4 capital improvement money.
What's the warranty on it?
Let me see, Tammy, it says, I think both of them have.
This one says 1 year full and 5 year limited.
I think
Stewart.
Lifetime warranty on sign faces against vandalism
Where are you reading that?
at the bottom.
Is that on the Stewart one?
Yes.
It's in the bottom of that.
Plus another page.
That goes with
I ain't got all my pages.
Both of them at the top says City of Hamilton, small town living at its best. I mean, they're really nice signs. Either one are very nice signs. This one out of Florida, I say out of Florida, the main company's out of Florida, but they actually build these in Clanton. The other sign, that's golf signs, is from Russellville. So both of them are close. Like I say, both are very close. The one at Stewart's just a little bit better quality is all only difference. But not that much. They're both real close. So one's yellow. You know, if you want to do it tonight, that's perfectly fine with me. I would recommend Stewart signs. I would recommend getting out of capital improvement. And we have approximately $250,000 in there.
Does our sign already say this at the top? It already says something at the top.
It don't have the slogan.
Okay, so you're getting rid of the whole sign,
Right.
everything.
You know, we
everything.
talked about doing a thing to get a new slogan and shield. Do we need to wait till we do that before we do this?
Are we close to getting that? I mean, it doesn't matter.
That's something that I thought maybe we could do first of the year.
You want to just try to, I knew small town living at its best was our slogan, it was adopted, so you know, whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, this takes about 6 weeks to get these signs, so another week or two is not going to matter.
Let's hold on.
But I think we need to, we definitely need to get one.
Talk about
Okay, that's fine. I know you and I talked about that shield he's talking about. We can do that.
A shield that would replace like the one that's
Yes.
behind you. You know, we've talked to the newspaper, there's no digital thing to use in our paper for the shield.
Right.
Because no one, they kept one, so.
Okay. That's not a problem. Number 11 is discussion, bleachers at the baseball field, elementary school. Lynn is, and I've talked about this a few times, but I want to bring it to your attention, but Scott said today, Lynn, if this was over 15, we probably would have bid it. Can we get another bid?
I think so, probably. Because it's gonna be over 15.
That's what I thought, and I didn't realize that when I gave y'all this, but this is a proposal. But Lynn, tell us why we need to do this. The bleachers we have now are gonna be obsolete.
Well, they already don't meet safety codes.
Trying to get it to,
If you go over 3 high, I think it is, they're supposed to be, the bottom's supposed to be, supposed to be where you can't fall through them, and they're supposed to have railing all the way around it. None of the ones we have over there now meet that.
but these bleachers here would meet safety code.
And I think it'd be a good thing for us to do to, the baseball program over there is, they put a lot of work into that field and made a lot of updates to the backstop and poured a lot of concrete. If you hadn't been by over, you need to go by and check it out. It looks real good.
Well, they've spent several $1,000s. A lot more than we spent lately. I think we spent about $7,000 or $8,000 for some sod. They probably spent $25,000 to $30,000 over there.
Yeah, at least.
Of their money, they had agreed to just borrow the money on their own. So they put a lot into it, and what we would be doing is helping them with these bleachers. But I think after speaking with Larry today, we may have to do some other ball fields too, eventually.
Yeah, I think the complex is gonna have to be updated also.
So this might not be the only section that we buy, but did you have anything in mind, one that seats 90 or 100 or 144?
I think if you do the, I think they told me if we could do at least 250, that it would be more than enough. And I think they were looking at maybe doing the 8-row, 30-foot long for the home side and the 5-row, 27-foot long for the visitor side.
Okay. So I think that'd be enough to get what they need?
Yes. And what I plan on doing is they're gonna set them back probably about 5 feet from the fence. The people still want to bring their lawn chairs, they can sit in front. And then they're elevated, both
Right.
of those are elevated.
Would it be possible to try to get another something to compare with, since it's gonna be more than 15,000?
Yeah, I think they had called around, I don't know if there's anybody close by, but we could probably come up with something. And if we need to bid it, we'll just have to bid it.
Okay, yeah, he said we probably need at least get something to compare with, since it's gonna be more. You can spend up to $50,000 for emergency like water, sewer, without bidding, but something like this has to, it used to be 7,500, now it's 15,000. So we have a little more leeway, but if it's over that, we need to try to get 2 prices if possible. And it may take several weeks to get these, Ricky. Well, baseball starts in February, March.
The guy that was gonna build these was wanting to hear pretty quick, so he could be able to get them done. I think he's got an order he's working on. And he said he would get us in there next if we can get it approved, so.
Okay. Well, looks like we got a lot of our next meeting.
Well, they start practicing in January and
Yeah.
they're playing in February
Yeah, they start playing February, so
when it's cold.
if it takes several weeks to get this, if it were to run over, it wouldn't matter, but as soon as possible would be better. Okay. Let me go back up to number 6 just a second. This equipment discussion, moving from general fund to create an equipment account. Over the last couple of years, our general fund has had a pretty good increase. And we were working on our budget this year. We talked about moving some money from our general fund to an equipment fund to purchase larger pieces of equipment. And we know that we had requests from Rodney for a couple of meter reader trucks, had requests from Mike for a dump truck, Larry just needing a pickup truck, and various departments. I think Chief Vickery was wanting to possibly sell 2 cars and use that to purchase 1, but we need to purchase 2 to replace the 2 if we give them permission to sell. And what we'll be doing is buying larger equipment out of this fund. I talked to Alan Cantrell. He says that's clearly the way to go. And we do have money in each department for equipment. We just didn't budget enough to buy a lot of big equipment. This would be just maybe one-time purchase of some of these things that we want to buy, and be the best way to do it. And my suggestion would be, if we do this tonight, to move $250,000 out of our general fund, which is about $2.5 million, to an account. And we don't have to do it tonight, but I'd like to do it for sure by the next meeting.
Why does it matter?
What's the name?
Why move it? Why does it matter?
Well, if you have, let's say we have, I hadn't got the budget fund, but let's just say we have $35,000 in the street department for equipment. Well, the dump truck's $40,000. So by moving and being able to get, some larger purchases in some of the different departments, we still have money available to get the small things in that department. And just be a one-time thing. At Flash.
It's what we talked about when we were balancing the budget.
Exactly. We talked about it at length. And that's, that's what, if we put all that in the budget, it'd been, everything, it'd been way over what we projected. But if we just do a one-time thing, that'd be the way to purchase it. Y'all can think about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a little more explanation because, I asked you what all was on the budget.
Right.
And you said, well, everything's been approved. so.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody needs to write it down.
I can write it down.
Okay.
But I mean, I think, you know, our general fund just went from a year ago from 1.9 million to 2.5 million. So we've been pretty conservative, and that's the reason our general fund has had an increase in it. When we did our budget, we budgeted pretty much what we had last year, which if we had given every single thing that everyone had asked, we'd been way over. We still got a $200,000 surplus, even with giving a $1 raise. So we're in good shape as far as our budget goes. This is just an easier way to purchase some of the larger items. That's all it is. It's just an easier way to purchase some of the bigger items that's not going through the bond money. Now, the 2 fire trucks, if we purchase those, that'll be in the money that we borrow. But this other would not be. It's just a suggestion, something to think about, and you know, I'll get you more information if that's what you want. But that's the reason I put that on there tonight for discussion. Mike, you give me a proposal of, tell us what you need, Mike, by the way, since you're here.
Well, as y'all know, we all put a list together of things that we need. The thing that's pressing me most now is the ton truck, the dump head on. The one we've got now is just the employees are scared to take it out. Most of the time it won't crank. To get out somewhere, they have to push it off, get it drugged back in, whatever. So that's the thing that's pressing me the most now. We use that thing for patching. We haul sand and gravel in it some. We go by people's houses and pick up appliances, furniture, mattresses, and bring them back to the shop as a courtesy to the citizens. Now we're just without one, and we need one tomorrow.
Have you found one?
I've got 3 bids. The mayor has them. The truck itself is around $35,000, $36,000, and then the dump that have to add to it is probably going to be somewhere around 10. So, you know, you're looking at $45,000 for the truck.
And that's probably a one-time purchase, so we won't need another one.
Sure, the one we've got now is probably an 80-something model with 250,000, 300,000 miles on it, and it's just wore slap out.
And that's what would be purchased out of this, some of the larger items, you know, something we won't be buying every year. This is a one-time thing. And you got anything, what else? You need a lowboy, I know.
Well, we need a lowboy trailer, we need a sand spreader, we need some kind of small utility vehicle that we can work in the city streets downtown with. We water all the plants and try to sweep the gutters out and all that stuff, and you know, if we take the tractor with a vacuum on there, it's just too crowded, it's too tight. There's several small things that we need, but the thing that we need the most now is the big purchase of the dump truck. Right. That also be used at some point. You get a sand spreader, we put the sand spreader in the back of the ton truck and work out a bit. You may not know it, but the people now that are, if we have bridges and stuff that are iced over, we put 2 men in the back of a dump truck with a shovel.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean,
it's not safe.
It's not safe.
Yeah. We could have a harsh winter. And,
We need to be buying that tonight.
I mean, that's,
On the truck, you'd probably look at the surplus and get one.
Well, I've looked.
40, 50,000, or the government surplus, call them down there, and they'd probably hunt you up one.
Well, I've been looking since I've.
yeah, he's been working, I know, for 2 or 3 months.
Ton trucks are not something that's, you know, pretty available.
Might have a crew cab on it, but that wouldn't matter.
Rodney, tell us,
Would be fine, but it's.
while you're here, Rodney, tell us a couple of things out of this large account fund, equipment fund, that, you know, all your trucks, almost every one of them's completely rotten. I mean, they're just not very good. And you give us a list several months ago of every truck we had.
Right, and the mileage on
The
them.
mileage of them, and what would be, I know you're just asking for 2 meter reader trucks. If we were to get this equipment fund account, that would be something that you'd want, and they're approximately 25,000, 22,000.
22,000 each, what I've looked at. course, the ones we have now, one of them's had the transmission rebuilt twice. The other one's fixing to have it done the second time. They're just wore out.
And they were
We're
used
stopping
from
and
the
starting
start.
300 times a day, they're gonna wear out.
And that's a couple of trucks that was used when we got them.
Yeah, they were surplus trucks when they were purchased. They had 60,000 miles on them then. They've got over 100 on them now. And like I said, I've been through 2 transmissions on one of them and fixing to go to the second one on the second.
That's just a sample of some of the things that we need out of this equipment fund.
Tim, was your switching and swapping around, I know the rescue truck sounded like it was on its last leg today when it was going through town. You're switching and swapping, it sounded bad.
Yes, it is.
You were gonna take the Explorer, the whatever that thing
Yes.
is, and swap it, but
Yes,
yet that was
once-
gonna leave you needing a truck.
Yes.
So, did you have, I don't remember, if
Yes,
you had
ma'am.
that figured in the bond thing, or if you had that in
No,
your
I think
budget, or if it would come
was in
under
the budget.
this? Okay,
It was figured in the budget.
Okay.
It wasn't on the bond. We took it out of the bond,
okay,
put it in the budget.
okay. But you definitely need to do some switching and swapping,
Yes.
because that sounded,
This as soon as we get a truck, or trucks. That's
Chief
part
Pickett,
of it.
might as well tell us while you're here. Larry's not, he's out of town.
Yes, sir,
There's what you was planning on doing if we're able to do this.
in the appropriation monies, what part of my needs are is a couple of vehicles, not high-end vehicles, but not low-end vehicles either. That's gonna come in range, the vehicle and equipment will be around 30,000 each. And then turn around and try to sell a couple of vehicles.
Purchase at least one of those. You think you can get 16, 17 for what we currently have, approximately 15?
Hopefully.
And the reason is to start trying to get a couple, maybe every year, at least in the police, if we can. Because if we don't, we're gonna be stuck replacing 10 or 12 cars at one time. And I don't know if we can afford to do that. Whenever that happens, it may be the next administration, but at some point, they're all gonna have to be replaced. If you get a little at a time and sell a couple at a time while they're still worth something, that'll help purchase, at least offset some of the purchase.
And these vehicles that we have now, got 10 2010s, and they'll be coming out from under warranty this year. So we will be bruntting the expense of repairs on them, and some of the repairs that we've done on them in the last 2 years that I've been here, had it been out of pocket, would have been very extensive.
We've had to take them back.
We're talking
Tell us what-
camshafts and crankshafts and
all the
stuff of
time.
that nature.
So they've been repaired quite a bit, but they've been under warranty. Now that they're not under warranty, we're gonna be putting a bill for all those things. So I think little by little, we can start switching some of them out, that'd be a good move. Okay, that's all I have tonight. Anything else, any other discussion, is there a motion to adjourn?
Number 10.
LED part?
Joe's website.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad, I left that off. I got the wrong agenda too right here, hold on a second. John Boy, that's right, I got it. Lynn, you want to explain that? If everybody knows our website, if you looked at it in the last 2 years, it's in dire need of being reconstructed. And we've spoken with a couple, and Lynn has met with John Boyette, and John gave us a proposal.
Well, we got proposals last year
I did.
2 or 3, and he was the best price last year.
He was.
And I just got him to update what he had done last year, and he's ready to get started if we approve.
well, I'm ready for him to start.
I am too.
I'll make a motion, we go with John and get this underway.
Okay.
Second.
Tim, second. All in favor, say aye. Thank you, and thank you. Hey, I had the wrong agenda, I'm sorry about that. We've updated this thing late this afternoon, I had it wrong, but we do want that to be done, because it's, all the meetings I go to, and they talk about websites, and there's many thousands of people look at websites before they ever contact the mayor or council or anything. They want to pull up your city and see what you're doing. see what's there, and right now, just don't have much to look at. So thank y'all for doing that tonight. Thank you, Glenn, for bringing it to my attention. I forgot about that. Now, if there's nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Thank y'all very much. We're adjourned.
To obtain a DVD copy of this or any video produced by 49 County News, contact us at videos@49countynews.net or call 205-282-9212.